So these are known as socket adzes. Essentially, they are a split piece of bone cut at an angle, as you can see here and as you can see here. You could do this with a saw, you could do this with a stone flake, you could score all the way around it, eventually snap it. The key is to get it at a nice sharp angle and then grind it on a stone until you get that desired flat edge that has a very pointy side, flat pointy side, that acts just like an adze. If my arm was the adze, this is the angle that I'm looking to go at. So I have a smaller one, I have a larger one, and then I actually have a handheld adze, which is out of the lower leg of an elk. These actual points on this leg kind of fit nicely in your hand, and it gives you the ability to chop away without having to actually attach it. So this is a hand adze that I've just kind of modified and pulled from a couple. Yeah, it's got a little gunk on it. I apologize, but you'll get the you'll get the deal. But yeah, the adze is a great tool. You can chop with it. You can definitely make bows with it. You can do a lot of things really with it, because it's a great little mechanism, little tool that you can use to get that chopping like motion. You could definitely fell a tree with it. I wouldn't say, you know, anything like that guy back there, but you could definitely take some smaller trees to turn them into bows, shape bows out. This would also give you the ability to dig out the initial phases of various burn bowls or just vessels. It's a tool. That's really what it is. It's giving you a new chopping tool made completely out of bone. Handheld version works just like this, and these two socket adzes of different sizes and different weights will ultimately connect to a handle where this little arm or this little piece sticking out will fall and slide right into the center portion of the bone. So I'm going to get shaping this out and I'll show you how that works. Now again, this is pine. Which is a little bit soft, but it is dead, so that's better than having a wet pine. Ideally, I like to use a gamble oak or some sort of hardwood, but when you're up high in elevation, you take what you can. These are great tools to make. Anybody watching at home, you can make these very easily in your garage, even out in the backcountry. It's not hard to find bones. The key is, when you find bones, you don't want them to be so brittle they're going to crumble. These are fresh. They're all solid. They are not old. They haven't been exposed to the weather for very long. It's hunting season here, so you know you can walk along any of these mountain roads and find where hunters dump bones and the carcasses that you know, they don't want to use. So it's my treat then. But yeah, the fresher the bone, the better. Piece has some knots, so I'm still shaping this guy. I want to give you a little bit closer look at these bone adzes. So there's that hole. This is my connection point, actually into this little arm. I'm going to get that to slide in there. This is the face, the actual ground face. You just grind on a piece of sandstone, any sort of abrasive stone. You know, you can see this still has a little gook on the inside. It's not going to hurt you, but they're hard. They're not rotten. You don't want rotten bones. Rotten bones, exposed bones, weathered bones will definitely break under the impact of you hitting a piece of wood repetitively again and again. It's not going to last. So two different sizes. It's got a good little mass to it. Same thing with this guy. And then this is the hand adze, which is made out of that lower leg bone joint, which is pretty common on most of your ungulates. So yeah, it's a good little handhold, chop, chop, chop. Works really, really nice. Can't go wrong with these guys. All right, let's finish this guy out. There we go, perfect. That's where I want her. Good mass. Now I'm gonna do a little final shaping. I'm gonna reshape the top of the actual head, give it a little bit more rounded, and then I'm gonna shape some of my handle down so I got more mass up here and a better handle down here. So. Look at the socket adze that I found from making these in the past is you don't want it to be so loose that it doesn't bite into the wood. Through the impact, you want it to almost seat itself into the wood. So you don't want to take too much off. It's kind of a game. You have to see where it will connect. All right, so that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Once you actually have connected your piece of bone to the handle through that socket, make sure it's seated on there nice and tight, as well as make sure that your front edge is parallel to your intended target. You don't want it at an angle. It could chip away and start giving some uneven cuts. So it's just a little tweaking and twisting, making sure it's good to go. Now, some troubleshooting procedures. If you keep finding that your bone is sliding off, you can definitely tie it on. You can get some cords and see how this bone kind of tapers out where the joint would be. You can do a little pressure wrap around here and then wrap it around this back side of the handle and it should stay in place. As well as you could, if you have any sort of conventional glue, you could pour a bunch of glue down the center portion where the marrow is, and it will glue in there, as well as any sort of pine pitch. So you can kind of glue it from the inside, as well as you can seal this up on the back side with any sort of glue or pine pitch as well. So let's go give it a whirl. I'll show you how she works. It worked really good. So I got this aspen tree right here, and I never cut down a tree if I'm not going to use it, and this isn't just for me to cut it down and show you how it works. I'm actually going to use this guy as a nice sturdy strong ridge pole that I'm going to be building a shelter with later on, because I'm going to be out here for a couple days. So let me show you how this guy works. Adze, again, it's all about the angle. So I'm going to find my base point. I got to remember I can't let my handle hit the ground, so I'm going to have to come up a little bit. And all I'm going to do is just work my way around the tree. You can see this edge is really holding up because it's fresh bone. That is the key. You gotta have fresh bone. You know, to point out real quickly, you can kind of see just how well this edge held up. There's no chipping. Yeah, it takes a little bit longer, clearly, but in the grand scheme of things, you have a nice little chopping tool. Very easy to maintain, pretty easy to craft for the most part, as far as the handle and then the actual socket piece that it connects to. But yeah, works really well. It's a good little tool. If it does pop off, usually it's because when you hit or you let go, the snap slides it off. But yeah, down and dirty.